Let's see. The Asandi Star League looks like it's going to start opening up here, Asandi.com. It started out not really advertised too well, and despite Last Shadow's best attempts to prove that it was a scam through asking about bonjuas and programming, it didn't work out. Asandi looks to be a real league, so go over, check that out, Asandi.com. It looks like it's going to be just another great cash, tournament, ladder first, top 16 playoffs, great players win a lot of money. So, anytime something like this happens, it is just so good for the community. So much money being pumped in right now. It's almost unreal. This is really one of the best periods ever to be a foreigner player in StarCraft, at least for the past few years here. We can only hope that TSL starts up again. That's about the only thing we're missing right now. And, well, Tasteless has started blogging for Game Riot, and he's really showing us how to use your keyboard correctly, whether it's taking the keys out or it's learning hotkey patterns. And this is actually something very important that is never discussed in the foreigner scene. The Koreans kind of take it for granted. They already know the ways to hotkey, the ways to practice this. But Tasteless is finally explaining this, and he really does understand it. He was one of the first people who, in fact, told me about all these different hotkey strategies. So that's definitely something that's worth your time to check out. It's on GameRiot.com, so go over there, give it a little visit. It can help out just about anyone, if you're not feeling so good on your hotkeys or your keyboard. And speaking of Tasteless, GOM Season 3 is going to start up. And Season 3 is really exciting this weekend, especially because of one thing, and that is Idra. He is going to have his first televised match. He's going to be going up against by.hero, a somewhat newbie as far as pro gamers go, Protoss player. So this is going to be really exciting. I hope to be down there to watch it. Idra, his first televised match, love him or hate him, this is going to be the first time that Foreigner is on Korean television in years and years and years. So, I mean, it's exciting. Everyone's going to have to tune in and watch to see how he does. Hopefully he can win this. We definitely need a foreigner representing over here. Noni went home. No one else has come yet, so good luck to Idra. Can't wait to see that match. I hope this guy doesn't know that DT drop is an auto win against him. And, well, there's a lot going on in the Korean scene. It is slowed down a little bit, not as many matches each week, but MSL just wrapped up, and Luxury just crushed Jongbi, which, was a big surprise to me. Jongbi is such a strong player right now, but Luxury had none of it. 3-1 over Jongbi, and it looks like we have a new silver miner. The curse of Samsung Protosses, I don't know. But Luxury, the new champion, it feels weird to say that. He seemed like such a mediocre Zerg for so long, but definitely showing a ton of skill. But, not so much in the Winners League playoffs, where Jaydong came out first against KTF. You would imagine they'd save Jaydong for last, have him come out after Flash or something if they can. But this just shows Hwasung, they are so confident in Jaydong that they just throw him out first. And you know what, Jaydong was like, I don't care who I'm up against, I will kill them. Because he just went right through and all killed in the Winners League playoff KTF. So it's almost astounding. He is such a strong Zerg. He is going right up for the best Zerg ever right now. He is just absolutely amazing. And, that last game against Flash, one of the best TVZs I've seen in a very long time. Flash was kept in his base for so long. The Mutalist harass was all over the place. And Jaydong went right up to Lurkers and then switched over to Hydra. I mean, he had a lot of Hydras. He took about half the map. Flash had a hard time getting around anywhere, and there were just defilers everywhere. And Flash played just brilliantly as well. It's not like Flash had an off game here. He was pressuring Jaydong so much. Jaydong had so many bases that if Flash had stopped attacking for like 1 second, Jaydong could have switched over to Ultralisk and gotten an easy win. But Flash was so aggressive. He was always out there with his Marine medic groups, moving all around the map, irradiating everything. And it was amazing because he played out of his mind, and Jaydong could not do the tech switch. So Jaydong had to fight this off with basically Lurkerling, Hydra, and Defiler. And between Plagues and Dark Swarms and a ton of Hydras, he just kept Flash at bay long enough for his huge economy to kick in, and Flash just kind of, he bled out. There was basically nothing left. He was mining out his main, his natural, and his expansions were constantly under attack. So really one of the best TVZs I've seen in a long time, especially on Rush Hour. Rush Hour, a huge Terran map, but Jaydong shows us that it's a Jaydong map, not a Terran map. Amazing play. I cannot wait for this Winners League final, which is taking place so soon. It looks like Saturday it's going to be going on. And CJ against Jaydong. I cannot wait to see this. Are they going to be able to take out Jaydong? We saw them play earlier in the season, and if I recall correctly, we had that new Terran, Sky High, do a really tricky cheese against Jaydong and take him out. Will that happen to Jaydong again? I don't think so. I would not be surprised if Jaydong gets a couple, at least 2 kills against CJ. Hell, he could even all kill him. He is an absolute beast right now. And, you know, speaking of how beastly Jaydong really is, he is still in the OSL. He is going to be going up against by.hero actually tonight, which is going to be probably last night for you watching this. But, you know, expect him to crush the soul of by.hero. By.hero, though, you know, he's had some strong words about the matchup. He said specifically, you know, he doesn't care who the Zerg is. It's just a Zerg to him. He is going to win. And, you know, this kid, he plays with July Zerg all the time, and July Zerg is one of the best Zerg players of all time, of course. One of the best Zerg vs. Zerg players of all time. And actually, he kind of looks like July Zerg. He has a similar style. He's huge APM. Very similar to July Zerg. So this is kind of like a Neo July against Jaydong. And so this could turn out to be a pretty exciting match. But again, Jaydong does not lose Zerg vs. Zerg on television, and he is in such good shape right now. I can't see him losing it. So I'm going to